Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Business of Animation podcast, the podcast that is dedicated to helping budding animation entrepreneurs create their own financially sustainable businesses while also maintaining personally fulfilling creative careers. My name is Cabblow. I am your host, and this is episode 9. In today's episode, I got an opportunity to interview the general manager of Durban Film Mart, Magdalene Reddy, and talk to her about the market, what it's all about, what are all the features, and how can attendees who attend the market make the most of Durban Film Mart. And as I was preparing for this interview, I realized that film markets and places where people actually sell movies and things was something I had zero idea about when I was in film school. I mean, growing up, you obviously watch animation, so you learn how films get watched, whether it's DVD or it's TV, and now obviously we have streaming services, and of course the cinema as well. But then with how those films actually get to the places where people watch the movies, I had no idea. I had zero idea about film markets and the fact that broadcasters, buyers, festivals, they go to those places to meet with producers, to meet with creators, to either hear them pitch their projects or to buy their completed feature films and series and then bring them onto their catalog. And so this conversation with Magdalene is really important in terms of knowing what markets are available in an African context and of course all over the world. And Durban Film Mart is very cool because it brings together African creators with these international broadcasters and distributors so that they can then buy our content and have it be on their various platforms where they'll be showing animation. And we're featuring DFM on this episode of the podcast because they now have a new focus on animation. And because this is a Business of Animation podcast, we can't talk about animation. We have to talk about animation things. So DFM has got a bunch of different events that they're doing and initiatives that they've started that are focused on growing not just the South African animation industry, but the African animation industry as a whole. And it includes, panels and expert talks and masterclasses type of things, but it also includes pitching forums. So just like I recently got an opportunity to pitch and to attend Annecy, which we'll do a podcast about later. At DFM, there are selected animation projects that are pitching there and going through a process of mentorship to prepare for DFM. So that's just my little intro. Of course, if you're listening to the podcast, if you're watching it on YouTube, you'll be able to see a time lapse of me drawing the artwork of today's episode, and you'll see some B-roll of different things in my conversation with Magdalene. And of course, don't forget to leave a rating. I hear Spotify now has a rating feature on the podcast. You just have to go to the main page of the podcast and you'll be able to give a rating. And of course, there's ratings on Apple Podcasts as well. But yeah, without any more preamble, let's get into the meat of the episode. Thank you so much, Magdalene, for joining me today on the podcast. I am very excited to be talking about DFM and all the animation activities that are happening. But before we get into all of that, please could you just introduce yourself to everybody that's listening?
Thank you, Cabblow. I am Magdalene Reddy. I am the General Manager of the Durban Film Mart Institute, who is producing the Durban Film Mart 2022 this year in July.
Thank you. So for those who are unfamiliar with Durban Film Mart and with film markets in general, can you just tell us what this particular market is all about?
Okay, so It is an African film finance and co-production market, which aims to create partnerships and further the development and production of film on the African continent. It is an annual event. So the Durban Film Mart aims to bring visibility to African film projects, facilitate collaboration and interaction between African and international filmmakers, introduce new film projects to potential investors and partners, and provide a platform for networking with experienced and established local and international industry associates. So the Durban Film Mart program has different elements. We have a lab. There's two labs, in fact. We have the Durban Film Mart projects, where selected projects go through a period of mentorship, and that mentorship prepares them to pitch to a panel of decision makers made up of sales agents, producers, broadcasters, film funds. And this takes place at the Pitch Forum, and I'll talk about the Pitch Forum just now. We also have a program called Talents Durban, which I understand, Cabblow, you have been part of.
Yes, I was once part of it.
Yeah. So it's a training and development program for African film professionals, focus more on the creative aspect. So it's more towards directors. We also, in terms of our Durban Film Mart program, we have an industry program, which is a series of masterclasses, talks, discussion forums led by African filmmakers. And most of the focus is around producing, directing, script writing. And again, Cabblow, you were on a panel last year in our virtual program. And then, you know, in 2020, when we had to make the shift into the virtual world, I think all festivals and markets promptly responded to this need to still have our events. The Durban Film Mart going virtual gave us the opportunity to create a new platform, which is called Content Shop. This platform is a catalog of African projects that are close to completion and are ready for sale. So we started that in 2020, and it's been successful over the last 2 years. We're still developing it because it's a new program. It will be presented again this year. And then, you know, to highlight that the main focus of our market is the Pitch and Finance Forum, where selected projects, we have animation this year, and we're going to talk about that, documentary and fiction, all from the African continent, which get to pitch their projects in development to a panel, like I said, a panel of co-producers, sales agents, broadcasters, and film financiers, with the hope of getting a meeting with them and then possibly getting investment into their film. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell the Durban Film Mart.
And it's honestly brilliant. Thank you for sharing that, because when I was in film school, I had no idea how films were sold. I just knew I watched my favorite program on this channel, but how it gets from the creator to the channel, I had no idea until I found out about markets. So DFM is very important in that regard.
Exactly. You know, many people don't understand the process behind it and the hard work that filmmakers and animators have to put in just to get their film on that screen. So the Durban Film Mart is about the business side. It's about the back end. It's about how do I get my film made?
Exactly. You as the general manager, I always like to ask people how their work goes every week. What sort of work do you do, and what sort of responsibilities do you have as the general manager of DFM?
Yeah, there's a lot that myself and my team work on. So one of my key jobs is to ensure that I can create enough partnerships for filmmakers and animators like you to meet the right people during Durban Film Mart. I also have to raise the funds to put on an event like this, which we all know fundraising is no walk in the park. But we persevere to ensure that we have the funds to produce this event. And together with our team, we look at the programming, we secure the speakers, invite the decision makers, selecting our projects, managing the logistics. But just to highlight, my job for the Durban Film Mart is not just restricted to this period of the year, because the Durban Film Mart is an institute, and throughout the year we are providing year-round programs, business lab, training, creating programs where filmmakers on the continent can understand the business making of film and how to access markets. So you can get your viewers and listeners can visit our website to find out more about what we do year round. But apart from the annual market, my job is to make sure that our year-round program is running and implemented successfully.
I can only imagine how hectic it gets when you're putting together all the programs, but it sounds very, very hands-on. For people who are aware of the Durban International Film Festival, they might see almost a link between DFM or might make the mistake thinking it's the same event. How are the two events linked and how are they separate?
I like the fact that you said the two events are linked, but the two events are separate, because not many people get that. So the Durban International Film Festival is the exhibition or the showcase of films. It's the place where people, audiences go to get films watched or to watch films, and where filmmakers get their films screened. The Durban Film Mart is the business of the film. It's the place where filmmakers get to connect with the industry, gain knowledge on what is happening in the industry, pitch their projects or project ideas. And, many people say, oh, I'm not in the pitch forum, so I might not get this opportunity. The good thing about a market is that you might not be in the official pitch forum, but just bumping into someone in the hallway or strategically meeting someone at the bar could be an opportunity, for you to pitch you got 2 minutes to pitch a project, and you never know. And this happens so often that filmmakers, just by connecting with each other, are producing new ideas and new films. So markets are so important for filmmakers. They help empower the filmmakers to compete on an international platform, generate interest for the content, and help filmmakers reach international audiences. So there is a clear difference between the two, but we are partners and we work together to ensure that filmmakers, film audiences, film lovers, the film industry has a well-rounded experience during this period. Both DIF and DFM take place at the same time in the city of Durban, thereby giving filmmakers the opportunity to do business during the day and watch films in the evening.
So essentially, if I get selected at DFM and I'm successful and I pitch, eventually I do make my project, eventually I could be an official selection at DIF, and then my film is shown there. So it's like full circle.
That's correct. And that's happened. We've had many success stories of films that were produced or pitched at the market and then went on to big and small screens. And DIF was one of those screens, and not just screen their film there, but they also had their awards. So last year, if we look at the DIF program, Murder in Paris was a DFM project. As I Want was a DFM project. Zinda, which has gone on to win so many awards, directed by Aisha Maki, was also a DFM project, but was screened at DIF. So we have many more success stories like this. DFM is becoming a huge platform as a springboard for many filmmakers in their career.
I'm making a note to go and find those projects and follow the people who made them.
Great.
So now let's kind of shift to the animation side, since the podcast is called The Business of Animation. Animation is quite new at DIF, and I wanted to find out, why was it so important to include, like, what is the significance of including animation at DFM this year and beyond?
Yeah, so animation is quite new at DFM. Over the last years, there has been an increase in animation productions in Africa. Despite the scarcity of training and development opportunities for animation professionals, there has still been an interest, or an increased interest, by international networks and broadcasters to purchase African animation content. And we see this as a huge potential. I've read in the Forbes magazine last year that animation is fueling the emergence of the creative economy across the African continent and helping to satisfy increasing global demands for new programming and production capacity. Now, for us as DFM, we hear things like this and we say, this is a platform that we need to develop in the market. Triggerfish has mentioned about so many businesses have taken strain during the pandemic. They have seen that the animation industry has been exploding. We have the likes of Cartoon Network, Netflix, Disney, all acquiring African content to their slate. So for DFM, we feel that having developed or assisted in working over the last 13 years to develop the industry, we want to add some significance to the industry of animation and also play our part in developing animation professionals.
It's such a good thing, because it's more than just the opportunity to show your animation. For those of us who are developing projects, something like DFM is another avenue to get that project in front of so-and-so agency or so-and-so broadcaster, which you might not be able to do on your own in your office, Googling and cold calling people. So that's why I think that's very exciting that animation is at DFM. As you mentioned before, I have been privileged enough to be part of Durban Talents, and I encourage anyone, whenever they see the opening, to register, apply for Durban Talents. And I was also part of a panel last year. But I'd like for you to share, what are some of the animation programs that people can look forward to at DFM this year?
So we have increased our offering at DFM this year substantially. We have industry sessions or talks, panel discussions, talking about animation productions, talking about funding for animation, talking about how government and how film professionals can engage to further animation production. So that will take place in our industry talks. But what is very new to DFM is we have now created a platform in our pitch and finance forum to incorporate animation projects. We normally, like I said, have 15 projects for documentary, 15 for fiction. This year, we are introducing 10 projects in development to participate in the Pitch and Finance Forum. This will offer animators a platform to pitch publicly to decision makers. We will then arrange one-on-one meetings with them, with the decision makers, but also prior to the pitch forum, they go through a period of mentorship to prepare them for the pitch. The pitch does take place online. Unfortunately, although DFM is going partly physical, we will have most of DFM online this year because obviously COVID is still lingering and there are still regulations restrictions that we have to follow. So participants will pitch in the online market. They will engage with the panel and then we will assist in getting them those one-on-one meetings. This for us is a big achievement. We are working with Fagogesi and Digital Lab Africa in the process of the selection of the projects. And we feel that working with different platforms across the continent, we will help. Instead of us coming in and reinventing the wheel, we want to use our strengths together with the strengths of others in the industry to provide a stronger platform. So the Durban Film Mart, our strength is that we have a good market, a good platform for the Pitch and Finance Forum. So we providing that to existing partners, for example, Digital Lab Africa. Yeah.
And those 10 projects, is it different kinds, or is it is it series, or is it feature films? Is it short films? What sort of projects?
They are fiction and series. So it's a combination of both. Yeah.
Oh. And they have already been selected, or are they still in the process of being selected?
They have just been selected. They know who they are. We will make a public announcement of that quite shortly. So look out for the press for that.
Okay, no, I'm excited then to see what the projects are. No, because this is one of the ways that we as South Africans can start, and Africans, because DFM is for Africa, where we can
Correct.
start making our own original projects and not constantly consume from elsewhere in the world. So that's why
Exactly.
I'm very excited.
I like what you said, that we as Africans need to create our own content. We need to create, we have our stories, we need to create it and tell the world, and the world is waiting for it. So this is what DFM is about, is to create the platform for African filmmakers, African animators to tell their stories.
Exactly, and I can see the passion when you talk about this, that it's not just this formal event that's meant for the industry. There's real passion behind what you guys are doing. So if I'm an aspiring director or animation director or a writer, and I want to get my project into DFM next year, for example, how do I go about doing that, and what do I need to do to make sure my project actually gets selected?
So we put out our call every December for the Pitch and Finance Forum. Filmmakers, animators should look out for that. That will go, there's specific criteria on our website, www.durbanfilmmart.co.za. And once the projects, we leave it open for about 2 months. And thereafter, we go through a process of selection. We have an independent panel that selects the projects. And then, unfortunately, it is a very, it's a very tough process because there's quite a few projects that get submitted. And we can only come out with, this year's only 40 projects. And we had over 200, I think over 250 projects, if I'm corrected, wow, apply. So it, again, like I said, that's one opportunity. But the other opportunity is to actually attend the market, because if your project wasn't selected, that does not mean you can't meet a decision maker. That doesn't mean you cannot meet another filmmaker or a producer that is looking for a film director to work with. So there's two opportunities, I would say. One is to look out for the call for application, which takes place around December every year. And the second one is to attend the market. And this year's market is the 22nd to the 31st of July. Registration for the online and the physical market are both currently open. The online event does have a fee to it. The physical event is free, but it does not have the finance and pitch and finance forum in the physical, like I said, because of the COVID restrictions that we have to follow. Yeah.
When you join, because I'm thinking about the people who want to have strategic meetings at the bar, when you join and you get your accreditation for DFM, are you able to see who else is participating, so you can organize to meet those people at the market?
Yes, that is one of our key elements to ensure that delegates know who else will be attending, which other decision makers are attending, to set up those strategic meetings, or should we say strategic coincidental meetings. Yeah, we do have that, will be available to all the delegates.
Okay, that's very cool. So people listening, make sure you get your accreditation for DFM so that you can see who is there, so you can meet them and hopefully make something happen with your projects. So if I am a participant of DFM, whether I'm a panel member or whether I'm in the pitch forum or just I've got my accreditation, how can I make the most of the market and actually make sure that I achieve what I want to achieve at the market?
I think what's key is to attend the sessions, and before attending the sessions, go through the catalog of who's attending, identify, know who's going to be there, so that you can either set up a meeting with them in advance, or you can meet them at the event, attend the sessions, and then the networking events. There's networking events every night in the physical event, and that is more casual engagement with anybody. So I would say, though, be very strategic and go through the program, go through the catalog before the event, so that you know who's going to be there and you know what you want to pitch. Because the last thing is you've got this 2 minutes in a lift with some important person and you don't know what to say. So if you're going to a market, DFM or any other market, have your pitch in your head all the time, polished, and be succinct as possible, so that you can get the attention. And sometimes the energy that you carry can also help. So be very friendly and open to their ideas. Yeah.
I'm taking this feedback for myself as well as I prepare to go to markets. Be ready with your pitch, be friendly, and make sure you look at the program and see what you want to attend in advance. Right now, the program is not yet on the website, but I'm sure by the time this recording comes out, it'll be there. When will the program actually be available so people can start pre-booking and choosing events?
So we aim to have it online at the end of this month.
Okay.
So 30th of June. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, by the time this recording comes out, it means the program will already be out. Yeah. I guess I just have one final question, which maybe is it's a bit difficult, but what advice would you give to aspiring filmmakers who are trying to get their projects out there and are maybe attending DFM for the first time? What advice, as someone who uh, is a custodian of the whole event and is creating this environment for people to actually benefit from, what advice would you give to them?
So, like I said, be well prepared. Take advantage of every opportunity you have during the market, but also be very persistent. I feel that filmmaking is not an easy career. We see filmmakers taking years to produce their films. And during that period, filmmakers sometimes give up, but they shouldn't. They should just keep persevering. Raising funds for the films are very hard. And we all know that funding avenues are sometimes drying up, but keep knocking on doors. Be persistent and hard work. Hard work will get anyone anywhere. So that would be my personal advice. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Magdalene. For everyone who is listening to the podcast, make sure you follow Durban Film Mart, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, to keep up to date with what's happening. And make sure you go to the website when the program comes out so you can pre-book and make sure you attend the festival as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Cabblow. I really appreciate this engagement, and I hope to see all your listeners and your followers at DFM. Again, my name is Magdalene Reddy. I'm the General Manager of the Durban Film Mart, and you are listening to the Business of Animation podcast. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And that was my interview with Magdalene Reddy, the General Manager of Durban Film Mart. Durban Film Mart is happening from the 22nd to the 31st of July. It's a hybrid event. So the in-person event is happening from the 22nd to the 24th of July at Tsogosan Elegant Hotel in Durban. And then the online version of the event is happening from the 22nd to the 31st. So if you want to catch those animation pitches, make sure that you get your accreditation for Durban Film Mart and that you're able to attend the online version specifically so that you can hear those pitches and see what African creators are doing in the animation space. This was it was very valuable to meet somebody who does this, who makes a space that facilitates the business of animation. You know, it really does. It's facilitating the sale of films, the sale of TV shows. It's also facilitating network building. You know, you go to a market and you meet someone who is either a fellow creator like you, they're a producer or they're a writer, an animator, and so there's opportunities to collaborate with them on a project creatively, or you meet somebody who is a film financer, somebody who is a buyer, so they buy TV shows, programs for their distribution platform, or someone who works at a network and they are part of the development team. You know, they're an executive there or head of programming, like with these big streaming platforms. And so then you have these opportunities to grow your network as a animation animator, as an animation business owner like me, and then you can explore those opportunities further. I actually got to meet Magdalene in person after we did our interview. We both met each other at Annecy, and which I will do. I said I'll do an episode about it. But I got to meet her in person, and I also got to. She doesn't know this, but I was watching her as she was like pushing Durban Film Mart and meeting people and connecting with them. And I saw how she was meeting people and sharing about the market and getting all these different stakeholders, that's the word people use, getting all them to buy into coming to Durban Film Mart or being aware of the Durban film market, because Annecy is also, it has a market portion. It's a festival, but it also has a market portion where people do business, where they buy and sell animations. And I saw how she worked and the calm that she has as does, and in the little conversations that we had as well, she does her work for Durban Film Mart. So really check out Durban Film Mart, attend, send in your projects when the applications open. I've been a part of Durban Film Mart previously. I did a panel where I got to talk about the animation residency and just like the clever ways that we can do education and help people break into the industry. And I also was in Durban Talents Durban. There we go. I kept saying Durban Talents in the interview. Talents Durban, and it's this mentorship program for animators, writers, and they mentor you in how to prepare your pitch deck and have it be ready to be seen and pitched to your prospective buyer. And I remember that's how I met. Is that how I met Isaac Mokajane? I think that's how I met Isaac. But yeah, Isaac was my mentor in that experience, and there were other creators as well from all over Africa who were doing Talents Durban, and just doing things like that. It helps you level up, it helps you grow and improve, and also just attending markets in general. You're exposed to the industry. Like when somebody says the industry, it has a face, it has a name now. You've seen the human being who does X thing at such and such distributor, and it's not this like faraway thing anymore. And so make it a point to attend Durban Film Mart, to attend all other markets. And if you can't this year physically attend, try to attend the online version as well. That's what I'm going to be doing. And like Magdalene said, check up on who's going to be there so you can create serendipity for yourself and meet just the right people who are who you could possibly collaborate with, or who your project is a really good fit for them. So yeah, that's it for this episode of the Business of Animation podcast. We were on a little bit of a break, actually it was quite a long break from the last episode that I did with Liz, and I am honestly very excited for where we're going to go with the podcast moving forward. So keep your eyes open on the podcast Instagram. It's cabblow.podcast, and of course keep your eyes open on everything that's happening with Cabblow Studios in general. It's my handle is just Cabblow. My handle is Cabblow. I keep saying just Cabblow, and I'm like, no, if you say that, people will type in just Cabblow. My handle is Cabblow. The studio's handle is Cabblow Studios, and then the podcast handle is cabblow.podcast. And that's where you can just keep up to date with what's happening with the podcast, because I assure you, God has been very gracious to us, and some beautiful things are coming your way very, very soon. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. If you're on YouTube, like the episode if you've liked it, and leave a comment. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please remember to leave a review. And I hope you have a happy day wherever you are in the world. Bye!